Hi, this is Rachelle with Journal Life's Journey, and today I'm going to share how to print on doilies and a few other items that I have. I learned how to do this from watching another channel called Creating in the Waiting. I think that's the correct name. I'll put the information in the description box below. So to start, basically what you do is attach the doily, move these out of the way. You attach the doily to a piece of paper. I'm using 32-pound paper to do this, so it's a pretty heavyweight paper. I'm not sure how it works with regular 20-pound paper or regular copy printer paper. I use 32-pound paper a lot, so I have it on hand. Also, I'm using printed papers that have already been printed on that normally would have ended up in trash or recycle bin, but I am reusing them for this because it doesn't really matter what's on the paper. Another note, I have never tried it with cardstock. I'm not sure if it works well with cardstock. I don't see why it wouldn't, but I don't know. I feel like the paper is more flexible and it kind of helps this whole process go through the printer. Another point, my printer loads from the back, has a tray in the back. It's not one of those printers that loads from the bottom and then the paper flips around. I feel like you get more of a chance when that paper flips around for it to get hung and jammed. This is something that you do at your own risk because it can mess up your printer, you can jam. It can cause some problems on the inside of your printer. So, I mean, if you're doing this, it's at your own risk. Just keep that in mind. Okay, so I have some doilies, and I think these are really cheap doilies that I got from Dollar Tree. I see people do so many wonderful things with doilies that I know that these doilies that I have would not hold up. You need some type of digital pattern design to print onto this. The main thing is to attach, especially the edges to your base paper. So this is a printable insert that I had printed and then I didn't need to use it. So I put it in my drawer to be coffee or tea stain later. So I'm just pulling it out and I'm going to use this as my base to attach the doily. I have inexpensive glue sticks that don't work very well. So I have the Jot glue stick and I have the school glue that's the washable Elmer's washable school glue stick. It's the one that's purple, I think. Yeah. So, and this is very old. I've had it for a while, so it's not in the best shape. I think I'm gonna use the Jot for this. I live in a warm climate with lots of humidity. The key for me is to do this right before I'm ready to feed it into the printer, not to do it in advance and let it sit around because this is supposed to be a permanent glue and the longer it sits, it cures. So the idea is you put the glue on the edge of the doily, and then you should be able to peel it up once it comes out of the printer. If you let it sit too long with the glue on it, it's going to get stuck to the paper. So the idea is to put the glue on just the edges really quickly, run it through the printer, and then as soon as it comes out, remove the doily from the base paper. And when I first started doing this, I ordered this repositionable glue stick by Scotch Create. I got it on Amazon. I'll link to it in the description box below if you're interested. I haven't tried it yet. We're going to try it today and see how it works. I also have these time cards. I don't know where I got these from, but they're different colors on each side. So I'm going to test print these. These are like cardstock. I'm not sure how well these are going to work with the glue. I guess you could tape the edge, but then the edge won't have printing on it where the taped area is. So I don't know. I'm going to try it with the glue. And the main thing again is you want the edge that's feeding through on these to be glued down really well. I've got a couple of guest checks. These are paper, but they're a heavyweight paper. I'm going to try these. And then this is another set of time cards. These I know I purchased from the Dollar Tree. These, again, I'm not sure where they came from. Okay, so we got all of these things to play with. Now, initially, since 4th of July is right around the corner, I was going to use this pattern that I created to print on the doilies. And I got some extra papers here, backing papers that I can use. But then I remembered I had these graphics that I'm using in the Spooky Shabby journal. So I may print some of this, or I may print something else that I have in my digital stash on some of these items because I don't want a bunch of the same thing. I want to be able to use what I print. I'm going to go ahead and glue this down carefully using the jot glue. So I'm just going along the edges. I want to get the edges really well. And then I'm going to put it on the paper. Let's see. I'm going to print the patriotic design first and press that down. Now I'm going to go to my printer, which is in another area, and print on this. Okay, and we are back from the printer and just carefully remove this. This is why I say you don't want it to sit too long and for that glue to cure. It basically goes on dry because it's an old stick and it's not good glue. That tore a little bit, but there you go. When you print and it's a full page like this, you're gonna have design around the edge. So you can use this as a scrap in other creations because you got the doily design, even though I've got the insert pattern in the background, it's not really that big of an issue. I had printed something strange, so I got some leakage there, but could maybe fold this up and make it some type of envelope or something. So even the backing papers can be used, but this is what the doily looks like once it's printed. Let's turn it the other way. I think it goes like that. Okay. I'm going to do a couple of these time cards. This is kind of like an experiment on my part because I haven't done this with these before. I'm just going to glue the bottom and the top and make sure I line that up pretty well. Let's do this one. I got to decide what I'm going to actually print on this. Guess I could have lined it up with the lines on the paper. This one is a little bit crooked, but let's see what we can get with this. I have to figure out what I'm going to print on this one. This one might have to sit a little bit before I am able to peel it back off, but let me go back to the printer. All right, so this is how this one turned out. I decided to use one of the papers from my She Blooms kit. Now, if I'd known that I was using that, I would have positioned these cards a little differently. But let's see if they'll fill up without too much damage. Okay, this one is stuck pretty good. Um, so yeah, I think the repositionable glue stick would probably be better for these. Yeah, it peeled some of the paper off. But that is what it looks like. And if I had known what I was using, I would have moved this closer to the edge. Let's see, is this one gonna be stuck? Yeah, not as bad. I got a little glue on the inside. All right. And I did have to help it a little bit to feed through the printer, but that happens when I'm using a cardstock sometimes. So I do have two printers. I have the one that I'm using to do this, and I have a more expensive version. That's the one that feeds from the bottom and the paper flips on the inside. I don't do stuff like this on that printer. I use the inexpensive printer, and I found that a lot of times the inexpensive printer works better printing on different materials than the more expensive printer does. So I will link the information for the printer that I have. I'm not even sure that they make it anymore, but when I purchased it, I was looking for the cheapest printer that I could find that was HP and HP Instant Ink Ready. I do use Instant Ink. If you print a lot of digitals, you can't beat that. I will link to that in the description box below as well. But this is how the card turned out. So I don't have a lot of usable space on this paper, but it can still be used. Let's try something else. I think I want to play around with printing one of these ladies on a doily. And I don't remember if I set this at 80% or 89%. So I hope I can get that right. And I do this. So I'm going to move it towards the top. And I think I'm just going to print at 100%. Let's use the school glue for this one. And then when we do the guest checks, we'll use the reposition tool. So you can see where the school glue is going because it's purple. And I got a feeling this might stick a little bit too much. We shall see. I really think the jot works the best from what I remember. Yeah, that made too much of a mess on that paper. Let's get another sheet. Let's put it on this paper. I might have used too much glue. All right, let's go print her on there and see what happens. All right, here we go. And I did make this a little bit bigger than the original because I wasn't sure it was going to all fit. So that comes up fairly well. I might put too much glue. So yes, it wants to stick right here. There we go. Okay. So yeah, I put a little bit too much glue on that one. But there we go. So that was I've used the Elmer School glue and then the Jot glue from Dollar Tree to do the doilies and these cards, time cards so far. Now let's try another sheet. All right, so we're going to use the repositionable glue on these, and they're going to feed in this way. So I'm going to put the glue on the top edge. Even though I'm going to do a horizontal page, I still need them to feed in from the top. Oh, nope, I need to put it here. Actually, the other side. It's very confusing trying to think ahead of what's going to happen. Okay. And let's use this library card. Still putting the glue on the wrong side. Um, Print on that too. All right. This glue is kind of yuck. Press these down and get off any excess glue since I got glue everywhere. Let's go try it. All right, so this time we had a little user error, a little oopsie. I had sent a job and I had to cancel it because I didn't want to print the whole document. I only wanted to print this one page, but part of the job had already made it to the printer, so it printed just this edge of it. So, but I just left it and reprinted right on top of that. So let's peel this off. Now I am thinking that, yeah, the repositionable glue is probably better, but I think it stays tacky, so that might be a problem unless you're just gonna mat the back of this or something anyway. I don't know. I don't think I like that tackiness. I probably would continue using the little cheap glue sticks instead and just take my chances with things sticking. But this is the library card. Here, guest check. This the error on it, and then this is the other guest check. Mm. Why does it have a white line? Little inking can fix that. And this is what the base page looks like. This was on top a little bit and I didn't notice that. Okay. That's exactly what happened. Oh well. That is how you do it. And then that's several different methods. Yeah, I don't like the repositionable because it's still sticky on the back because it's meant to reposition it. So unless you're gluing this onto something, I wouldn't do it. But it does go through the printer quite easily. So those are the doilies, guest checks, library cards, and time cards. And you can print both sides. But that gives you a variety of digitals that I printed on them and how they turn out. So that's it. Oh, I missed the edge right there too, but yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and I'll holler at y'all next time. Bye.